Mother's Day TV, I think, because all of you are very young around, except in the front row. And listening to my previous speakers, like it's been very interesting, like Suman, Ajay, and Mr. Chawla, talking about a little bit about banking and merger. And it's because of the merger, to tell you the truth, I'm out of job. That's why it is, I'm former Deputy CEO of Clean Energy Development Bank. Clean Energy Development Bank merged with NMS Bank, and it's become NMS Bank, and I'm out. This is the story, the negative part, like there are many good things and bad things about merger and acquisitions, and this happens. But I'm happy because I've been in banking for more than 3 decades. So I'm happy to take a break and be out of the bank. So talking about banking services, how many of you have bank accounts? Good. I mean, I can see a number of hands. So you should be knowing like what do the bank do and like what are the services. Like for example, I mean to speak broadly, it's the payment services, financial intermediary, and financial services and ancillary services. I don't have a good eyesight, so I read from here. Banking is the services like talking about payment services. The payment service is the backbone of the entire money flow in the economy. So you know, like it's the bank who supports the money flow. Previously, the payment system was supported by checks, demand drafts, etc., which have now changed. Definitely, you don't always use a draft or a check and you move around. You have different modes of payments. You use internet banking and many other, there are different systems presently used. And it's definitely the evolution of technology. Financial intermediary. This is definitely the banks are the financial intermediary. They act functions which specifies accepting deposits from customers and lending to the borrowers. Earlier we always thought it's the customers come to the bank to deposit and people borrow from the banks, and it is the bank acts as an intermediary and makes money in between. To add on, like Dr. Chawla said, banks are not charity houses, it's commercial. They always, nothing is free there. Every transaction has money, they make earnings from it. The main core business of the banking system and will continue as long as the banking system exists, definitely, because this is how the bank makes money. And financial services, I'll just read these, then I'll talk about others. Financial services include new services which are being launched by different banks as per the requirement and as per the requirement of the customers. There are different types of customers and the need is increasing, and so they keep adding different services. Services include investment banking, foreign exchange business, line of credit services, wealth management, and broking services. So there are different types of transactions, like you should be doing, investment, like foreign exchange, whenever you want to travel. It is, again, you go to the bank, exchange the foreign currency. These services generate income for the commercial bank in the form of commissions, service charges, or interest, which is also termed as non-fund income for banks. I'm showing this. Talking about ancillary services, they form a small part of the services offered by the bank, and these include like safe deposit lockers. It's not only dealing with the bank, the money. It's also like we try to give services where you can keep your jewelry or your important papers, whatever you want. And the banks also provide transit facilities, like they come to your home or to your office and give banking services. Traditional services for offering, like different kinds of accounts, like savings, current, or fixed deposit, or whatever. And again, currency exchange transactions, providing business or personal loans, providing care and home loans to retail customers, safekeeping of valuables, for example, lockers, supporting government's activities with credit by purchasing government bonds, like national saving bonds and all that the government comes up. Offering trust services with property and financial management related to services for a fee, nothing free. And new services consist of financial advisory services, like nowadays, every bank has investment company, like for example, Nabil Bank, they have Nabil Invest, Siddhartha Invest. So they're doing a lot of different advisory roles where a customer goes and not only does banking, cash transactions or taking loan, but like if I want to make money out of investment in, for example, Ajay spoke about stock. Like even they advise how you can make investments in fixed deposits or where they can in stocks and all that. So banks acts as an advisor. Credit, debit cards and gift cards. How many of you have a debit card or credit card? That means your parents don't trust you. They're not giving you enough money to use your card or whatever. Cash management, equipment leasing, venture capital loans and private equity funds, insurance services, retirement plans, equity trading and investment services, mutual funds and pensions, investment banking services, wealth management, anywhere banking facilities, trade services, phone banking facilities, internet banking, mobile banking, doorstep banking, anything. So with all this, but we are talking about technology, my subject is related to that. What happens is why customers are not using the technology, the new technology like it is available. It's not that, but I can say myself, as I left the bank, because while I was in the bank, I used to get other services through my own bank and my assistants were there. But what I realized after I came out of the bank, I needed to open my demat account, take my e-statements and so forth. But the facilities are not to the standard or it's not to the mark. I can tell you that. Even as a banker, it is so difficult for me to open my e-statement. It took me a day. Because the instructions, when I wanted to open it, the instruction there talks about, for example, your the last letters are your password of your account number. When the account number has just the numbers, so how can you find your letters? And which is the last numbers that want us to look is also not clear. So it is very difficult. So for a person like me who has been in banking for the last 30 years, and I'm not able to open my statement, via internet, I don't know how the others would do it. Same thing happened to open a demat account. It took me really long time. I really had to call the bank, Nabil Invest, so many times to asking them to guide me. So I think these are the constraints why you cannot do it. And for example, when I started my banking in 1984, everything was manual. Like Dr. Chawla mentioned, there's so much changes. At that time we just had a monitor which used to give the signature and all that. Everything was so manual and we were doing it and people were accustomed to that. And but now the changes because of the environment, because of the technology again. I think it's the technology that helps everything become so efficient. And at the same time, but if it is not done in the right way, it is very difficult. It's you need to understand it. And Starting from 1984, like we used to do it, like look at the signature book and like, you know, confirm the amount through the phone, which is also very smart when we compared ourselves with Nepal Bank, Rashtrapan's Bank and Agricultural Development Bank. We are doing an excellent job. Because like when a customer used to come to our counter, like I started as a teller, we used to serve the customer within 3 minutes. That was our motto, like, you know, we serve the customer within 3 minutes. That was very efficient, and like, we used to have a good crowd of customers coming to Nabil Bank. Then I started with Nabil Bank. But you know, that was still very good, but at the same time, as the time passed, there was a lot of changes. And today, like from the phone, you can do so. Like this morning, I was in the car driving, and like even to, you know about a scheme, for example, NMS bank auto scheme or something. You just have to dial 488 and auto loan 488, and the app is there. Everything is so efficient. It's so easy. But like, why we are not using it? Definitely lack of education, lack of awareness, lack of knowledge, and for us not trying to use it. It's us individual as well, I feel, because I don't do it myself many times, and I try to do it manually or I ask assistants and so forth. But for you, like I'm happy so many of you have bank accounts, so it's really good. Like that shows, like I don't think anyone is earning here. So it must be your parents who's putting money in your account. But at least you have that banking habits. Like Dr. Chawla was talking about, you know, like how money is, it is not practical for everybody to have bank accounts. And I thought, like, I was very happy with Modi Sarkar's, you know, like everyone having a bank account. I thought that was really good. And like he said correctly, like we banks are very careful where we make money. We don't want to do anything that does not make money, because we think we are commercial. Always we are commercial and we have to make money. Like I know how anxiously, how aggressively I used to work for the bank, and any money we make, we are very happy, because the staff also gets bonus and your performance does have value. You know, you get promotion and all that. But now he's saying the cost is so expensive, and like he said, he's very correct. Like when you open accounts and like that is very expensive to maintain it. Then because you hardly have money in that account. Because if the money is there, which is low cost, and you are lending at a high cost, then it makes sense to the bank. But the news, like, you know, State Bank of India, right, who open the accounts for the general. Okay. And because they collect billions of rupees, you know, that was mentioned in the news. Like, and I thought, oh, that makes sense. Like even when here in Nepal Investment started with 1 rupee bank account. That was a gimmick, like everyone can open an account with 1 rupee. Because we would not entertain accounts with minimum balance of 5,000 or 25,000 and so forth. So, but you know, they said just 1 rupee. But people started coming with a habit of saving. Their savings deposit boomed, you know, like they collected a lot of money. Because they, you know, when somebody opens an account, they try, it's a habit that you deposit something, you keep some money in the account. That kind of habit, I would like to encourage that, you know, because once you open an account, like people have started getting, like they want to save something, which really helps. That helps the economy, like, you know, even strength everything. But Dr. Chawla is very correct. Those people who are really in need of money and they have limited income, they will withdraw everything. But at the same time, what I would like to say is, like, we in Nabil Bank, we have many salary accounts of different institutions where staffs were of high pay and low pay. But those, even the lower paid staff, you know, they started saving something because their salary started increasing. They were getting higher paid. I think all this, you know, the environment, all this helps. And saving habits, that helps. And at the same time, customers start getting, you know, going to the bank. It's correct, like, you go and withdraw the money and have fun. But at the same time, coming to the bank was also a problem for many. Because when in Navin Bank, earlier when we started branches in Virganj and so forth, customer would not come to the bank because of the environment or the ambience. The bank had AC, they had carpets, they had a nice clean room, and the customers would not come in. But slowly you have you have to act where you are. So we started telling our branch managers and the staff, please be very normal. Tell them to come in with the slippers on and not to take out the slippers outside. So these kind of lessons they have to have. Then the customers started coming, and it is already mentioned, it's the microfinance, the cooperatives, they are making a lot of money. Yes, because they go in the route or they get adjusted with those kind of customers. And they are true customers in the sense they pay. Like again, I repeat, 9,000 crore of rupees has been defaulted by a person in India, and I can't say he's absconding or if he's returning or not. So it is where you lend. That is something very important at the same time. But I think the cooperatives, microfinance and all that, they are doing good with a high return, and they go to the customers and all that. And Dr. Chawla asked, can bank be sociable? No, definitely not, because you cannot do it in certain ways. But the banks have come to a conclusion, there are many banks have failed. Many banks have failed, and the recession and this and that. Why they have failed? Because their lending, their investment was in wrong places. So there is one alliance called Global Alliance for Banking on Values. That's in Europe. And I was representing the Energy Development Bank, and we are the first bank to become a member there. So they talk about sustainability. They talk about planet, people, and prosperity, profit. Not only profit. It's like if the bank they talk about only profit, then you may tend to make investment in the wrong places, and you may fail. But at the same time, but if you talk about the uplifting the society economically, then you always talk about your investment in a smaller way. You don't make profit in a year or two, but it takes time. But at the same time, if your investment is correct, and that's the cost for society. For example, when I was in Germany, I was surprised. They said the bank is investing in a school, in an old age home, without interest. They were they were giving loans, they were giving loans without interest, they don't have to pay. So it is such a comfort for the school or the old age home to start a business. Similarly, there are rich, good organizations or the individuals who are keeping money in the bank without taking any interest. So it is both, how they were trying to support each other. But does it happen in Nepal? For example, I would like to go to the bank which pays the highest interest for my deposits. And I would like to go to take a loan where bank charges me the minimum. So there are alliances. The banks have now started thinking about all this, how they can support the society, and it has to be sustainable. The business should be sustainable, not that it booms and fades. It should be like you don't invest in such businesses. And they talk about transparency, they talk about sustainability, and they talk about diversification. That means your investment is not in one category of business. So that if anything happens, for example, there are carpet, pashmina, garments, so many industries came in Nepal, and one or the other failed at one time. And the banks would just, their profit would just fall. So it has to be diversified, so your transparent in the sense like, you don't make your investment in wrong places, and whatever investment you do is transparent. So that helps the bank to grow. So now, I don't know how other banks are doing, but when I was in Clean Energy Development Bank, we talked about a lot about sustainability, and we talked about empowering women, because they were not coming to the banks, and I was the one to say we are not gender biased. We do welcome women to come to the bank and take the loan and grow your business. So there are different, different categories, different ways of thinking of banking, and how you can make it sustainable. Not only the bank, it's the customers also. Because any business house, they need some kind of loan from borrowing from the banks to grow. So it helps. So if the customer, the borrower, is also doing good business transparent, which is, I don't know to what extent it can be possible. So this way, the banks work and can do well, supporting the society and uplifting the economy of the nation. With this, I would like to say thank you to everyone and wish you all the best. Thank you.